I'm not him! He suddenly realized he was screaming at her, at least as best he could in his condition. Ashamed, he sat back beside himself. Her eyes misty, she looked away to blink back tears. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense how I'm alive. Maybe he saved me. I don't know. What I do know is I'm not any further from death than I was. How can I do those things when I can barely stand? He was short of breath now, and suddenly began to cough. More than some blood showed on his lips from his jellified lungs. He relaxed back and rested, taxed, from mere sentences. And she saw he was telling the truth, and walked away. Kathy couldn't sleep. Questions filled her mind. She wasn't able to understand. Who was this dark being? Who was this Superman? And why wasn't Adam dead yet? How was he still alive? Why did the super being look like him according to some? I mean, she hadn't had a good look at him. Neither of them had, it seems. And who was this lady at the funeral, for that matter? She tossed again. A gentle buzz rang. Wait, that buzz. The infirmary. It wasn't an emergency, but it did mean Adam was awake and wanted to talk to someone. She sprung from her bed at the lair, tossed on a robe, and sprinted to the window. Adam shifted his head in her direction. She clicked the comm. Yes, Adam, what is it? The person in the armor with the gas. Yes? Was looking for me. Yes, take me to them. But I don't know how to contact him. And, wait, you want to meet with that dangerous person? But they almost drove you mad with fear. Do it! We still have time. Kathy took a step back. Should she? Good. I'm dying. This is my final wish. Drive me there. Take the car. What car? Night Shadows. She turned and saw it parked elsewhere, on the far end of the lair. Do it. She bit her lip. Night Shadow walked down the stairs in a robe to check on Adam. He walked up to the window to the isolation area of the infirmary, and Adam was gone. He looked about wildly. Kathy? Kathy? Adam? Nothing. He dashed to the computer and searched for their beacons. Nothing still. They weren't in their suits then. Wait. The car's out. His car? No. Night Shadow's car blasted down the highway. Adam lay in the back with a phone in one hand, pressing keys slowly but determinedly. Kathy, a worried look on her face, drove the car. A small screen came on. Night Shadow's angry and also worried face showed up on it. Kathy, get that car back here right now! Turn it off, Adam croaked through parched lips. Kathy bit her lip and reached for the dial. Don't you dare, Kathy! The screen went blank. Kathy's eyes started to tear up. Adam wheezed into the air. His breath was ragged. They turned toward a shortcut the GPS directed them away from. That's odd, Kathy said. What? I'm heading back to where I met the dark thing, and the GPS is taking me around town for some reason, instead of through this much faster way. Why? I'm not sure, but we don't... She couldn't finish saying that they didn't have time. Adam was dying. He knew more than anyone. He didn't need to be reminded. Kathy, I have to tell you something. Adam, you're weak. Save your strength. Kathy, the first night you said you saw the Superman and the rest, And then the reason for the GPS rerouting became obvious. A street race. No, something more. Their tires suddenly blew, and then something detonated under them, and the car flipped. She laid under the car with him now, the fire growing, the shadows of wicked men around them drawing near. Evil men taking advantage of the chaos of no heroes and less cops. Their ambush had been perfect, the wreck fantastic. They were going to die. And he turned to her, body failing. And if she didn't get out, hers would as well, or worse if she fell into their hands.
"I didn't tell you something,"
Adam said through bruised and busted lips, blood trickling down his head. Kathy looked to Adam, an eye somewhat closed, a little of blood coming down her forehead.
"During all those nights, when you said you saw him, that hero, I left something out."
She watched him carefully as he confessed, uncertain of what he would say next.
I dreamt.
"What?" she asked in a desperate whisper, almost unable to hear the words.
I was Superman.
A faint noise of straining metal filled the air above the flames. Then it groaned louder, and Adam's face strained with agony. But suddenly his arm yanked from under the wreckage that held them both down, and grasped the tortured metal that was the frame of the car, one of many piled around and on top of them. He started to yell and cry aloud, and the car began to lift. Soon he was crouched under it, and pushing the whole of all the vehicles off of them. His bones began to mend, his cuts and scrapes and blisters and sores began to vanish. His atrophied muscles filled out before her widened, mazed eyes, and he threw the vehicles off of them and looked down to her.
"All the sightings, and your own that you told me about, all of it was exactly like my dreams."
And he turned around to face the wicked men, amazed and staring. They all raised guns. Adam stood still. He took a step forward. Over a dozen men opened fire on him. Kathy gasped. Adam's panting breath revealed his fear as he looked down at his clenched fist. But he looked down and saw nothing. No harm had come to him. Several slugs fell to the ground from impacting his body. He looked down into his hand as it slowly opened to reveal one slug there as well. He looked up. They all stepped back. He dropped the bullet, and he stepped forward. Most ran, but one, the biggest,
"You just missed!"
and sprinted at Adam, and swung his mightiest blow as hard as he could mid-run. And the resounding crack that echoed off the walls was his knuckles all busting in tandem on Adam's jaw. The man sighed in pain and stared in surprise at his fist. Another man found his courage and stepped forward and began hitting Adam again and again, over and over, fist, elbow, palm, fist, punch, smack. Nothing. Adam watched as if in a haze, as if still trying to comprehend what was going on before his very eyes. Then he stopped the attacking man's onslaught of fists by grabbing the thug's arm, in which he wrenched the man's arm in such a manner to dislocate it immediately, and with seemingly no strain on Adam. Then he landed a kick into the bigger thug's gut that buckled the man over and sent him flying into the brick wall of the alley behind him. The other man Adam turned his gaze on. The thug was stupefied with horror, and began screaming in protest as Adam's rage built, and he began to spin the man and let go. The thug flew into the street at the end of the alley and slammed into a car. Adam looked down at his fist and clenched it hard and released. "Adam!" Adam spun at the cry and sprinted back towards the cars. Kathy was still there and unable to really stand. The smell of gas was growing, and the fire was spreading in the ever-spreading pool of the stuff towards her. He reached her suddenly. He grabbed her up and sprinted in the other direction. The cars blew up. He dropped to a knee and used his body to block the heat. He stood up. He pointed to a vehicle with no occupants.
"Let's go."
Kathy watched wide-eyed at his back. The shirt was scorched away, but no damage to his skin. Adam spun. She was going into shock. He grabbed her by the hand and pulled her to the car, leapt clear over it, and yanked the door open on his side. The door came straight off. Stunned at himself for but a moment, he soon snapped out of it at the sound of more gunshots and leapt in, turned the key, and took off. Pulling over, Adam tried to warm Kathy up from going into further shock. He found some old hoodie in the back seat and a towel, but nothing much else. At least the heat still worked.
Adam, I can't believe...
Neither can I. Just relax, okay? Try to warm up.
Adam, how did you...
Shh, I don't know. But we can figure that out later.
Are you still dying?
He was about to encourage her to relax and rest, but suddenly found himself wondering the same thing. Was he?
I don't know. Listen, I'm going to drive us back to the lair. I doubt this car has any bugs on it, but we can ditch it just the same. Can you walk?
I think so.
Okay.
And so they did. Upon arriving close enough to the lair, they ditched the car, an easily walkable distance out. But fearing for her fatigue, being sleepless, stressed, cut and bruised, and coming out of shock, Adam decided to carry her, which oddly enough, though not entirely, considering what just happened, was incredibly easy. He walked back into the lair's secret entrance, and then down the drive tunnel, and into the dark place they called home. No one.
Night Shadow?
Nothing.
Night Shadow?
Still nothing. Adam placed Kathy in an empty bed, dressed her wounds as best he could, and let her sleep it off with a painter. He looked over to the computer.
Well, let's see where you went, old man.
Night Shadow didn't wear a beacon. He didn't want them knowing his comings and goings. Nor did he even leave the lair, or wherever else it was he lived that was above them that those stairs led to. But, aha! Adam looked to see if he had tracked the car they took. It did have one. The data was still up.
He must have gone there. But if he did, then...
It suddenly struck Adam. Night Shadow may be in danger. He may have gone to search for them. He typed a hasty note for Kathy and ran to the garage. He paused where his old bike used to sit. It had probably seen some use from Kathy, apparently, during his absence, but now it would be his once again, when he got it back. He ran towards the exit, then stopped halfway, and backed up, jogging in place. In one of the transparent tubes, on an old mannequin, was his old outfit, his first one, mostly just cloth he'd cobbled together. Well, he needed something,